Newcastle and their famous black and white stripes to get us underway. Attacking the goal to our right. Defended by a Liverpool team whose campaign has been decidedly erratic. And of course there has been some pressure on Gerrard to produce. In fairness, they've done so from time to time. But he admits his disappointment at the last two results, a defeat at Tottenham and then the draw at Wolves, in which he said we weren't fully focused. Well, he'll accept no such weakness today in what is now such an important landmark in Liverpool's season. Newcastle's as well. This is Aaron Hughes, the Northern Ireland international, who grew up as a Liverpool fan back in his homeland. Carragher, it's only his second game back after he broke his leg back in September, you'll remember, after a horrific clash with Lucas Neal, the Australian of Blackburn. But Houllier knows his defensive strength and quality and was keen for getting back in the team as soon as possible. He's on the left with Finnan on the right. Good link-up play here further forward, and Heskey taking it on! Blocked by Given initially, but he couldn't stop the goal. Turned in by Bruno Cheyrou. Oh, what a start for Liverpool. And suddenly the Frenchman has found his form. He scored against Wolves in midweek. Also got the winner at Chelsea recently. And he was in the right place here to coolly steal it in. After Given had initially blocked the effort from Heskey, who came surging through here. Actually, I don't know, it was Bernard, the fullback, who got there ahead of Given. Seemed to have thwarted the danger. But while the goalkeeper was on the ground, there was Bruno Cheyrou. Quick piece of thinking by him. And inside, the first 90 seconds or so, Liverpool have gone in front. Well, he's had his critics since he came from France to Anfield, Bruno Cheyrou. He's beginning to answer them in the most positive way now. O'Brien with a free kick for Newcastle, who've had no time to settle. Well, there have been some thrilling games between these two teams down the years. Remember those two humdingers back in 96 and 97 when Liverpool won 4-3 on both occasions. Are we in for another feast tonight? Laurent Robert, so hot this season for Newcastle. Scored an incredible goal against Fulham on Monday when he twisted it mid-air to provide an acrobatic finish. Here's Robert now. What's in? Oh, what a response from Newcastle. Hold on to your seats, it could be a bumpy ride this evening, but a thrilling one too. Well, such power then behind the kick from Robert, who's come up with some spectacular goals this season. Two crackers against Tottenham, then the one against Fulham, and now this one. Just look how that was travelling, and it was too hot for Dudek to handle. He'll be disappointed though he didn't get a hand behind it. But it was really fired in by Robert. And fly from Sir Bobby Robson's team. 2 goals inside 4 minutes. Here's Heskey. Robert's 11th goal of what has been for him an outstanding season. And he really has won over his critics up at St James's Park. He's been at odds with Sir Bobby Robson from time to time. Not these days. Really was a stunning response. Here's Jermaine Jenas, the young England international. Well, he's been very much back in favour, Robert, with Newcastle. And the manager, 71 next month. We'll be hoping for more of the same. So many potential match winners in this Newcastle team. Interestingly, Alan Shearer himself has gone off the boil slightly lately. I think he's only 1 in 7 now. Woodgate to Aaron Hughes. You really can't play down the significance of this 4th round FA Cup tie to both these celebrated clubs. A corking atmosphere at Anfield to greet them on a chilly afternoon here. They've certainly been warmed up by the football so far. On you go, says Graham Poll. It's a foul by Heskey. The searing run led to the opener from Cheyrou. Alan Shearer has led the line magnificently for Newcastle this season. As I mentioned earlier, he's yet to win at Anfield in a Newcastle shirt, and of course he had a great day here with Blackburn back in '95 when they clinched the title here. O'Brien clipping it forward. Plenty of contact, but only a goal kick. Here's the referee's decision. Got such velocity on that free kick. That was Heskey's run. Bernard thought he'd done enough, but reckoned without Cheyrou following up. Well, then Robert to whip in the equaliser. Maybe while Liverpool were still congratulating themselves. Their lead didn't last long. Cheyrou, who came from Lille in France, certainly struggled to settle for a while, but really now beginning to make an impact and justify his manager's faith in him. No doubt about his talent. It was a question about whether he could adapt or not, really. And he certainly is now. Owen looking at the centre. But O'Brien was the first to respond there. Gerrard, who's been under a bit of pressure then, knows he has to succeed really. A good run in the FA Cup would do for starters. This is Steve Finham, out for a while through injury. But this is pretty much now the strongest team Liverpool can put together. Chance for Owen. Nuisance to himself then. With much bigger players around him, still made his presence felt. He's got a fantastic record against Newcastle, 13 goals in 9 games against them. And that includes 2 hat-tricks. Here's Harry Kewell. Looking to release Owen. But O'Brien was impeded. Andy O'Brien, who was a scorer against Fulham on Monday, his first goal for nearly 2 years. Owen striving for full match fitness again after niggling problems, including a major thigh injury sustained in the game against Arsenal. Here's Bernard. A revelation really for Newcastle this season at left back. Genus. Now Hughes. On to Solano, the Peruvian. The only man from his country to play in an FA Cup final. Remember, Newcastle got to 2 in a row in the late 90s. Solano played in the 99 game when they were beaten by Manchester United. Here away then by Sami Hyypiä. And Solano for Newcastle. Looking with Dyer, and then Genus. Here's Dyer again. He's got real pace, Kieran Dyer. He's certainly flourished in this supporting role to Alan Shearer. But sturdy defending by Jamie Carragher. Liverpool have certainly missed his resilience. Here's Bernard. For a Newcastle team who have lost only one of their last 12 games. So their confidence is high. And they have recouped very quickly after the shock of conceding that early goal. Hughes with Solano. Here's Shearer. Broken up by Stefan Anshou. He's been preferred in the centre of the back line to Igor Bishkan. Renewing his old partnership, of course, with Herpia. That was so effective in recent seasons. But Liverpool have lost at the fourth round or earlier in 6 of the last 7 years. One exception when they won the competition in 2001. Michael Owen, those 2 late goals, you'll remember, against Arsenal when he turned it round. Free kick to Liverpool. Given away by Andy O'Brien. What a storming game defensively against Manchester United and Newcastle's goalless draw at Old Trafford recently. Took a real battering on 2 or 3 occasions facially. It showed his bravery. No free kick. Newcastle felt they might have had one there, but now they can break quickly. Didi Hamann gives some protection to Liverpool's back 4 in that role just in front of the back line. I think now is his 9th game back, another who was sorely missed during his absence. On by Heskey. Woodgate with the clearance. Another man of the match display from Woodgate in the game against Fulham earlier this week. They have a towering display at the back. And in front of Sven-Göran Eriksson too, the England coach, which will have done his prospects no harm whatsoever in terms of being in the squad for the European Championship finals come the summer. Heskey hopes to be there too. Taking on Bernard. Woodgate with the clearance. Only to Finnan, his Hamann. Well in Anshou. The Swiss international defender being stretched again here. But once more up to the task. Bishkan, in fairness, has been playing pretty well in central defence. So Houllier had a tough decision really to leave him out. But deciding to revert to his old partnership of Herpia here and Stefan Anshou. And that, maybe the aerial threat of Alan Shearer had something to do with that. Gerrard Houllier being reminded this week, incidentally, that he tried to sign Shearer back in the summer. Newcastle were having none of it. But Shearer is certainly a player that Houllier much admires. Along with everyone else too, I would think. Still going strong, Shearer, still battling away up front, creating chances as well as putting them away. On by Heskey. This is O'Brien. Locating Solano. Well in Steven Gerrard. Herpia coming across. No longer captain, of course, Herpia. The armband being worn by Steven Gerrard. Owen. Now, how quickly can they counter-attack here, Liverpool? Steve Finnan. Haman. And Herpier. They couldn't maintain the momentum then, Liverpool. Broken up by Gary Speed. So important to Newcastle in his midfield role. Came out with a goal too on Monday, only his second of the season. Bobby Robson calls him my Trojan. Such a hard-working player, Speed. And such an example too to those around him. He really has helped to bring on young Jermaine Jenas in particular. Past the 15-minute mark and all the excitement crammed into the first 4 minutes. The two teams cancelling each other out. Haman. Too long for Owen. Backed up by Shearer. For an hour or so, Bobby Robson felt they played some of their best football of the season against Fulham back on Monday. Shearer conceded his first goal in 4, but no doubt the Newcastle were worthy winners. Kieran Dyer, who posed many a problem up front on that occasion, and is doing so again now. But overzealous in the end against Carragher. Whose stability played such a prominent role in those cup wins of a few seasons back. Real determination etched on his face. He was, I can tell you, very keen to get back after such a long time out. Bernard. Now Jenas. Shearer had shown for him initially. He might fall here for Dyer, who's onside. Well, Herpier was alert then to snuff out the danger. But they got it wrong initially then defensively, Liverpool, and almost paid the price for it. Solano with the corner kick. Shearer the main target in the middle. Dudek had to push it behind then. Worrying moment for Liverpool and for Jamie Carragher. Woodgate is up from the back. Speed is no slouch in the air. In the end, I think it was Jenas, yes, who got his head to that one. So concern for Liverpool from an unexpected source. They might have been looking for Woodgate, for Shearer, for O'Brien. And who pops up? Jermaine Jenas. Well, it's not in Newcastle's nature just to put up the shutters. And that is certainly not the way they're playing here this evening. Taking the game to Liverpool at every opportunity, as their travelling fans will expect. Woodgate, who's done really well against top strikers this season. Likes of Van Nistelrooy and Beattie recently in the last round against Southampton. Hardly had a look in. Can he curtail the threat of Michael Owen tonight? Carragher. Straight at Jenas. Here's Haman. Liverpool did lack cohesion and fluency really at Tottenham last week. And they haven't quite got their game together yet so far tonight, despite the excitement of that opening goal. No excuses. The big guns are all on parade, including Michael Owen. This is 4th or 5th game back now. since returning from injury. Flicked on. Well gathered in though by Shea Given. Hurpier in the mix. Bent in then by Gerrard. I think Owen might just have got a touch to it. That was Shearer. Well, he's been penalised by Graham Poll, much to his disgust. Ginas. Again, some careless distribution by Liverpool. Haman being hunted down by Kieran Dyer. The flick was from Kuehl. Owen couldn't get through here. Michael Owen. Well, it took two of them to stop him. He is so quick off the mark. Looked much sharper in midweek, Owen, in the game against Wolves at Molineux. And he nearly profited there from that astute little flick on from Harry Kuehl. It was Hughes who just got to the ball in the end to save the day. Heskey, who was a scorer in the last round in their 2-0 win away to Yeovil. No easy assignment. Liverpool passed that one with flying colours. Well wide in the end from Cheyrou. I think he might have taken a deflection though. He certainly has an eye for goal. So corner to Liverpool. Sami Hurpier lurking in the centre. Here's Gerrard. Getting some fearful stick from those Newcastle fans behind the goal. On show. Oh, Heskey couldn't quite take it in his stride. Andy O'Brien on his guard then to deny him. Just a moment's hesitation there at the back from Newcastle. Finnan hoping to test them again. And Newcastle can't get it away. Gerrard! It might have gone anywhere and it did. Just about a goal kick, I think. There's no question his presence is vital to Liverpool with his drive from midfield. And Houllier is so keen to link him up with Michael Owen again. In the 12 appearances they've had together this season, they've lost only twice, Liverpool. Harry Kuehl. Joint top scorer with Owen this season on 9. He's played more games, of course. Speed losing out in the end. Now Haman. I think there's something going here for Liverpool. Cheyrou. Lost it by Finnan, should be Gibbons. No real challenge from Owen. Jonathan Woodgate. Seeking out but not finding Olivier Bernard. As I was saying earlier on, his return has coincided with Newcastle finding their defensive strength again. The combination of Bramble and O'Brien didn't look quite so comfortable. Haman. Yes, it wasn't Harband's tackle that's been penalised, it was the early one on Shearer. Who's been contained so far by Liverpool, but you can never write this man off. 16 goals in the Premiership, 1 in the UEFA Cup. Here's Robert. There's some pushing there, seen by referee Pole. It will be a free kick to Liverpool. Just about 1,000 tickets left unsold, I gather, for this contest, which has certainly whetted the appetite from the moment the draw was made. The two teams, you remember, met in the 74 FA Cup final, when Liverpool, inspired by Keegan and Toshak, won 3-0. And if memory serves me correctly, Newcastle were overwhelmed completely on the day. Well, that's not the case this afternoon. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, that was very casual then. Goodness me, from Aaron Hughes. Gifting Liverpool a corner. And raising expectations among the Liverpool faithful at Anfield. Lapsing concentration then by Hughes. Here's Gerrard with the corner. Well, fisted out by Shea Given. Even though there was no real pressure on him, taking no chances. Given, who is very much a permanent fixture in the Newcastle goal. As indeed Hughes has been at right back, or at least in the team he's operated in one or two different positions, but mainly at right back. That's a rare miscalculation by him. Finally away by Robert. Not renowned for his defensive qualities. In fact, getting him to track back is an achievement in itself. Heskey. Speed to Genus. They work so well in tandem in the heart of this Newcastle team. Here's Genus now. Good football from the team in black and white. Solano. Magpies are chirping at the moment, having fought their way very quickly back after conceding that early goal to Bruno Cheyrou. Robert with a wonderful free kick to make it 1-1. Both those goals inside the first 4 minutes of this FA Cup fourth round tie at Anfield. Developing into an absorbing contest. Here's Bernard. Cheyrou is the player injured. And he fell to ground rather heavily then. Some concern on the face of Graham Pole. Urgent assistance required. He catched that with Bernard while he was holding his face. Nothing really spiteful from the Frenchman Bernard, you would have to say. But his compatriot Cheyrou in some distress at the moment. Gerard Houllier signing him from Lille back in the summer of 2002. Taking his time to settle, as I was saying. He's only made a handful of Premiership appearances this season. He must be freezing, that bloke there. Never wears a shirt, it's the same one, we see it every game, I think. Probably can't get one on. They are fanatical, the Geordie fans. They love their football. And he's got a right old shiner there, Bruno Cheyrou. It's a tough life in the English game. But ironically, a Frenchman who clattered him. His fellow countryman. Here's Jermaine Genus. Another hoping to catch the eye of the English coach come the European finals. Really is making excellent progress, Genius, the former Nottingham Forest midfielder. Here's Woodgate. On-show policing Shearer. Good sturdy strong challenge then from Bernard. And Liverpool at the moment as an attacking force, not really stringing too much together. Bernard with quick feet. Ran straight into Finnan though. O'Brien a little clumsy there with his challenge on Owen. Referee Pole seeing nothing wrong. Carry speed, that midfield fulcrum for Newcastle. Doing a good, reliable job again tonight. Alongside Genius here, who has a little more licence to get forward. Here's speed now. Finding Shearer, down for Genius. He got his shot away. Another encouraging moment for Newcastle. Genius hasn't scored for Newcastle this season. Intriguingly, Kieran Dyer hasn't in the Premiership. His only goals, those 2 strikes in the last round of this competition. Referee allowing the advantage to Liverpool. It was a foul by Shearer. Bernard. Nothing on for Kuhl. He's not really got in the game yet. Let's see what Solano can do here for Newcastle. Laurent Hughes. Laid off by Shearer, but untidily. Kuhl, though, failing to profit from it. So back come Newcastle again. Knocking on the door, if not exactly hammering on it. Bernard. Wide of him is Laurent Robert, the flamboyant Frenchman. A decent cross as well. Shearer. Now Heskey. Here's Michael Owen. Now Heskey again. The two renewing their partnership up front with a young foreign Cinema Pong goal. I think they will have been first choice had he not been injured. On the sidelines at the moment, after making quite an impact when he was preferred to Heskey at one stage. Having said that, Heskey did really well in the last round at Yeovil and has turned in 1 or 2 other useful performances as well, despite speculation linking him with Middlesbrough, maybe even Milan. It remains a question of some debate as to whether Heskey will be a Liverpool player when his contract runs out in 18 months or so. At the moment, Liverpool are keen to have him around and he wants to stay. Genius, little 1-2 off the referee. Now Finnan. Woodgate, as composed as ever defensively. Bernard. Fucking tackled by Gerrard. He's such an inspiration to those around him with his endeavour, his commitment. But Liverpool, you feel, need a little more poise going forward. Not really hurting Newcastle, apart from that one moment when they struck so early. Emil Heskey. Carragher. Thumped away by Woodgate. It was Carragher. And then by Kuehl to Michael Owen. Could be danger for Newcastle here. Still Owen. Flicked on by Gerrard to Finnan. That was Genius back defending. Then Olivier Bernard. Well playing Stefan Ocho. Verpier. Not sure those long high balls are going to unsettle Newcastle too often. O'Brien and Woodgate are very strong in the air, as is Ocho at the other end for Liverpool. Speed. Now Genius. They really have fashioned an excellent understanding between them. Here's Hughes. He's done well to keep the ball alive. Hughes again. One man taking a tumble, and the referee has blown the free kick in Liverpool's favour, which may be a little harsh on Solano. That pass was certainly there to be disputed. Man getting in front of him, as he's very clever at doing, and I think there was some contact and a little shove then from Solano. Kuehl, beaten quarter-finalists last season with Leeds, hoping for a longer run with his new club. Ocho, again in commanding form at the back there. And once again, Liverpool failing to make any serious inroads, and they have advanced. O'Brien and Woodgate. Now Speed. No one has played more Premiership games than him, closing in now on 400. Hammer, on by the German international to Gerrard. This is better from Liverpool, it's Owen. Now Hammer. And Stevie Gerrard. Making no impression. And Solano decides he has to turn it all the way back. Maybe the chance of a break was gone. Getting towards the last 5 minutes of a half that began in spectacular fashion, hasn't quite lived up to all the expectations from there on. Kieran Dyer. Now Bernard. Robert. Here's Dyer. Ocho just caught him. He felt he played the ball. Graham Poll didn't. Who will the replay favour? I think he did get the ball there, Ocho. I think Kieran Dyer made a meal of that. Here's Robert. Surely too far out for a strike-on goal this time. You never know with him. Great free kick from him though that drew the equaliser for Sir Bobby Robson's team. In many ways on a par with that fantastic goal from JJ Okocha earlier this week of Bolton. Now off with Nigeria, of course, in the African Nations Cup. There was a wonder free kick that helped them to a 5-2 win over Aston Villa. Olivier Bernard, 1-1 at Anfield. All rather tight. But all in contrast to the first 5 minutes. And Both teams began in such blistering fashion. Bernard. In Hamann for Liverpool. There's a nice shot in by Woodgate. Not seen by Graham Cole. Heskey thought there was a push, and it must have been I did too. The referee Paul is well placed to make his decision, even if we didn't share it. Bernard. Referees can't give what they don't see. Here's Kuehl, then O'Brien. Now Robert. Cheyrou made sure he didn't get past him. A crunching challenge then from the Swiss defender. Keen to show his manager he's right to include him today at the expense of Bishkan. Now Hughes. Dispossessed by Carragher. Gerrard. And Liverpool now come sweeping forward. Oh, Owen can't latch onto that one. Just too heavy the pass. For all his speed and acceleration. He has scored more goals against Newcastle than any other club, Michael Owen, but the pass just went astray from Cheyrou. Woodgate. He has been imperious in recent games. He's kept a fairly tight ship so far tonight. That first minute apart. Shearer. Toiling away in typically determined fashion, but it's not show here. A nifty piece of footwork too. Harry Kuehl. Oh dear. They do seem a little impatient at times, and they are prone to playing this long ball, Liverpool, which really isn't getting them anywhere. What you expect of Liverpool teams. Harry Kuehl, who seems a bit below par so far in this game. And generally the two sides, I would say Newcastle, are playing with more confidence and belief. Here's Bernard. Robert off on a run. Bernard again. Confronted by Finnan. The player they signed from Fulham back in the summer. Settled in pretty well and then had an injury which kept him on the sidelines for a spell. Approaching the last minute then of the first half. Two of the teams expected to go a long way in this year's competition. Pretty evenly matched at Anfield. Woodgate. And Speed. Muscled out of it though. Seemed very hesitant then Gary Speed. It could be an expensive lapse. That was Owen. Heskey was on the near post. Genos managing to smuggle it out. Finding Kieran Dyer. There will be a minimum of one more minute to be added on. Alan Shearer. Hoping to exploit the fact that Liverpool had pushed a few up then. But had time to regroup. Harry Kuehl bringing it away. Heskey up top. Owen in support as well. He seemed to be caught in two minds then, Kuehl. Maybe Newcastle made it up for him. Defending a very high line. Here's Carragher. Heading off Kieran Dyer, who does enjoy playing up front. Taking his chance in the absence of Craig Bellamy, although as I mentioned earlier, Bellamy will be in action again soon. He's back in full training now. And at one stage it did seem he might have made the bench today, but he has been held back. I don't want to rush him back too soon. Cheyrou. Now Gerrard, that measured ball. Dealt with by Woodgate. Bernard. Here's Robert. A little buzz of anticipation among the Newcastle fans here. But he flattered to deceive. Which rather has been the story of the first half. Some promising moments, some promising moves. But nothing really developing from them. So at the halfway stage in this FA Cup, fourth round tie at Anfield, it's one apiece. Both teams off to a flying start. Bruno Cheyrou with the opener for Liverpool, so quickly wiped out by that spectacular free kick from Laurent Robert. Since then, if anything, Newcastle have had the better of things, but the scoreline remains one apiece as we go into half-time. They will be thinking they have every chance. Liverpool kicking off. Now attacking the goal to our right. Bruno Cheyrou on 2 minutes. Robert equalising almost instantly with that fabulous free kick for Newcastle. Michael Owen, who's been kept fairly quiet so far. Both teams have defended well. Cheyrou taking this free kick then. Carragher has gone up there. And Herp, yep. But no problem for Shay Given, who didn't have a great deal to do once he'd recovered from the shock of conceding that early goal. Didi Hamann. Away then by Oncho, who was outstanding in the first half. That's as well as I've seen him play for some time. Harry Kewell, I'm sure Gerard Houllier will want him to be more involved. The same applies really to the likes of Harry Kewell. And now Letalic, the French under-21 international, who has come on for Heskey. Owen. This is Finnan. And then Hamann. Sitting away from Dyer. Harry Kewell. Rather tentative pass though by him. Here's Gerrard. So often Liverpool's inspiration. And they need him to be a big influence in this second half. It's a teasing ball in by the skipper. Liverpool claiming the corner, and Graham Poll concurs. Bruno Cheyrou in the thick of the action. Back comes Shearer to help defend. The man who has never won at Anfield, remember, in a Newcastle shirt. Gerrard with the kick. Propelled by Jermaine Genus. A few games out through injury, Steven Gerrard, and he really was missed in the engine room. No question, England always miss him too. Here's Cheyrou. Is it to be another corner? It is. Gerrard will try again. Finally away, Alan Shearer. Looking to launch a counter raid here for Newcastle. Liverpool 5th in the Premiership, Newcastle 6th. Nothing to choose between them so far in this FA Cup tie either. Gary's speed. Now Bernard. Here's Letalic. Just 19 years old. Came from Auxerre. Didn't reach that one though before Woodgate, who was pretty quick and read that situation superbly. Solano combining with Kieran Dyer. That was Carragher standing firm. Liverpool's longest serving player now, Jamie Carragher, and what service he has given to them. Now here's one for Michael Owen to dispute. Taking on Bernard, who just lost his footing in at a vital moment. Or was he tripped? I think he was. A real complaint from Bernard. See it again here. I think he just lost his way then, Michael Owen. Bernard has been punished. And a chance here then for Liverpool. Steven Gerrard on the end of that cross. Couldn't do anything with it though. Genus. On by Dyer. Genus again. Shearer making tracks into the middle. Robert is there too. Only just beyond him. A promising raid then by Newcastle. Genus. It's easily read though by Herpier. He got careless too. He's been scrappy in many ways this game. I'm sure he'll be thinking that too. But to survive it, that's the key. The manager who's never been successful with a club team at Anfield. This is finally to be his day. Letalic. Now Finnan. Called over invitingly by Gerrard. Just a moment's hesitation. Given thought about coming for it. Knew he wouldn't get there. And Hughes had to be vigilant at the back, as he so often is. Really has cemented a regular place in the team, Aaron Hughes. Just getting the better of Kittle there. And the referee deciding it came off the Liverpool man. Well up Honcho. Determined to nail down his place again in this Liverpool team. Dyer with Solano. Here's Shearer and then Dyer. Robert almost played it, Shearer. Olivier Bernard has hit it too long for Shearer. But they seem to have worked to path the goal then, Newcastle. Not quite. Not been at their best today, Newcastle. But generally their form lately has been good under Sir Bobby Robson after they'd had a bit of a reprimand from the chairman, Freddie Shepherd, who had a right go at them really. saying he wanted to see a few Rolls-Royce performances from players living Rolls-Royce lifestyles. Well, they have responded well to that criticism. Certainly they turned in a dogged, determined display and getting a goalless draw at Old Trafford. They had to fight win in the third round over Southampton. And now they're more than holding their own against Liverpool at Anfield. As another possible Liverpool raid comes to nothing. Robert trying to send Shearer on his way. The run was covered by Carragher. But a corner to Newcastle. Only Blackburn have beaten them in their last 12 games. Laurent Robert. Here's Bernard. It's turned into a very useful ball. Solano. Happier on his right foot, and he got his cross in too. Liverpool wobbling a little. Cheyrou. Now we'll give it to get there first before the Talek. Not too difficult in the end. Finnan. Newcastle slow to close them down. It was Latalec's ball in. Here's Gerrard. On by Carragher. Now it's Harry Kewell. Taking on Bernard and Hughes, and a miscue from O'Brien. Maybe that could have been embarrassing. Had been a little closer to the goal. As it is, it's a corner. And fresh hope for Liverpool. Up comes Sammy Herpier. He's never scored an FA Cup goal. Gerrard's corner. Newcastle have coped just about. Carragher. Finnan. This is Anthony Latalek. Now Harman. Latalek. He's got a chance to curl it in here. Up comes Gibbon, struggling a little. There's an unorthodox challenge. Michael Owen trying to set it up here for Herpier. And then Harman. And somehow there was no real conviction about any of that. And Harman striking it wide of the target. Bit different from Newcastle, but they've got away with it. Maybe a problem here for Shay Given. Never tested the goalkeeper in any way, Didi Harman. Both sets of fans doing their best to wind up respective teams. Not a great bit of serious goalmouth action yet. Here's Shearer. Well, that would certainly have to go down as a shooting opportunity for Didi Harman. Solano. There's Genius. Seems to get better and better, Genius, every time I see him play. One for the future, they say. Well, the present as well, as far as I'm concerned. But here's Stevie Gerrard now. Look at Owen in the centre. If Gerrard can find him. Michael Owen just forced a little wide. And the chance disappeared in the end, thanks to some alert defending by Newcastle. But they were really opened up on that occasion. Just not quite enough accuracy on the pass in from Gerrard. And the angle in the end was too tight for Owen. Stevie Finnan. This is better now from Liverpool. Well collected by Shay Given. Stevie Finnan on the rampage this time. Gerrard Dyer sprinting in. A great interception by Stefan Oncho. He really has excelled today in the red of Liverpool, who are pouring forward now with Harry Kewell. Difficult angle. There were other options open to him. I think he felt there was a deflection. Not so according to the referee. They come off Woodgate. That was how Kewell saw it. But here was the chance for Michael Owen. Just that little bit wide, he had to collect it first. And that gave Newcastle time to provide some cover. They really have been stretched though by the run of Steven Gerrard. Finnan. Liverpool improving. Bernard. There's Dyer. Can't get away from Honcho. Just for a moment that I thought the back pass was too short. That wasn't the case. An hour gone. Still these two clubs locked together at one apiece. Genus. Just a few signs now that the game is beginning to open up. Gerrard. Is ever striding relentlessly forward. It's there! And it's that man, Cheyrou, again! All credit to Steven Gerrard for the run. And he found space in the middle, ghosted in, and tucked it away with great aplomb. Some superb work here from Gerrard. Wrong-footing the Newcastle defence. In came Cheyrou, and it was such an accurate header beyond Shay Given. And Liverpool are back in front. And he can't stop scoring at the moment. 3 in 2 games. The winner as well, away to Chelsea. He is really now making the right impression for Gerard Houllière's team. Now we'll see what character Newcastle can come up with. They responded straight away last time. Solano trying to poke it in. That's too long this time for Michael Owen. But Liverpool back in the driving seat, thanks to Bruno Cheyrou. It's taken a while for him to win over the Liverpool fans. He is certainly heading in the right direction now. Just a hint of a smile from Gerard Houllière, but he knows his team are far from secure yet. Too much scoring potential in the Newcastle ranks for that. But not really creating many chances, you would have to say. Bernard. Can they up their game a gear or two now? Raise the tempo. Laurent Robert. He might just be the man. This is Genus. On by Hughes to Solano. Dug in towards Shearer and co. Not really had much of a look in Alan Shearer so far. Such has been the tightness of Liverpool's defending around Oncho and Herpier. Cheyrou the hero at the moment with his 2-goal strike. And he'll be the first there to compliment Gerrard on the accuracy of that ball in. Really attacked it to that Cheyrou. Such a powerful header beyond Given's grasp. Bobby Robson will be disappointed with his team's defending, I'm sure. was an excellent header all the same from Cheyrou. Carragher. As Newcastle look to press now and find an equaliser again. As he did so quickly and so magnificently at the start of this game. Olivier Bernard. Little trip by Haman. Bernard, who's been a fixture in the Newcastle team since September. Robert. Is he lining up a shot on goal here? The run-up suggests he will have a try. He certainly hit it. Doesn't always work. Liverpool shading the contest as we near the three-quarter mark. Woodgate. Bernard a little aggressive there with his challenge. Owen, the Predator, waits in the middle. That's Latalek. He's into double figures in terms of substitute appearances in the Premiership. Got his first goal in the game against Olympia in the UEFA Cup. And he was on for the last few minutes at Yeovil in the last round, Latalek. And he's got longer to make an impression this time. Facing Emil Heskey at the halfway stage. Bernard. Chase that one as the invitation. Solano is doing just that. Goal kick to Liverpool. Solano getting a little overexcited. Some speculation about his future. Not Graham Pole. Alberto Solano. I think if the right offer came in, Bobby Robson would be prepared to sell him. But as it is, he's won his place back in the side, the Peruvian. And he's done pretty well too in recent games. One of his quieter afternoons so far. But he's capable of coming up with the unexpected. No challenge from Shearer. Gerrard. His vision led to the goal, but has Newcastle back in the ascendancy. Not sure on the back foot here. No chance really for Kieran Dyer. He has been nagging Sir Bobby Robson to give him more opportunities in the front line. Now, is there to be a change? There is. I think Solano is going to go off.
Substitution for Newcastle.
Not to replace him, Shola Amiobi. So he will push up front alongside Shearer, I'm sure. And it'll be a wider role for Kieran Dyer. Amiobi had a few games out recently after he suffered a fractured cheekbone. Featured as a sub on Monday against Fulham. At least a decent run in the team too a little while back. With Bellamy out. Over 41,000 crammed into Anfield. And now really engulfed in this contest. Which way will it swing? Liverpool's at the moment. Was Kuhl. Now Owen. Trying to fashion a chance for himself. Steven Gerrard to take it on. Ball for Latalek. Just didn't really sit kindly for him. Really big talent, this young man. Half a chance. Oh, the defender was pretty tight on him. Not sure about the haircut. Finnan. Very good composure. That was Latalek. Now Dyer. Wanting some help. Andy O'Brien with Woodgate. He doesn't panic. Not too much seems to faze Jonathan Woodgate. But they were called out on the goal. Tucked away so well by Cheyrou. Here's Herpier. Well, Newcastle have forced the corner. They will send up Woodgate and O'Brien. They have more height in the penalty box now with the arrival of Shola Amiobi. Albert to swing it in. This is Bernard, with Genius to his left. Robert. Instant control from the Frenchman. But then he ran out of steam. Ran into that solid Liverpool brick wall. Hartman. Owen has dropped off short here. Latalek. Graham Pole in the way. Steve Finnan. Bernard to Amiobi, the England under-21 international. Is he brought down? Well, maybe, but on you go, says Graham Pole, allowing the advantage. Taken up now by Kieran Dyer. He has failed to add to his 2 goals in the last round. Liverpool remain in charge. Latalek. Servicing Carragher. Vacuum. Taking on Hughes. He's got Owen on the near post. Still Kuhl. It's a corner in the end. And Newcastle with some more defending to do. Around the penalty spot. There's a threat on these set pieces. Here's Steven Gerrard. There's Amiobi. Harman. Off the head of Shearer. He's not really been able to make too much impact in this game. And that's down to some very dependable defending. Thus far, anyway, from Liverpool. Kuhl. One for Harman. Then Gerrard to Latalek. That's good football from Liverpool. Neat and precise. Is there an end product? Doesn't seem there is. Carragher. He's going nowhere really. He's done well to get a corner out of that. Much appreciated by the Liverpool fans, with whom he is a great favourite. Just over 15 minutes remaining now. Cheyrou with a double strike for Liverpool. In by Gerrard. Only just wide then. Just the wrong side of the post from Herpier. Pretty close to his first ever FA Cup goal. I'm not sure it wasn't the Talek who got the first touch, and then maybe a deflection off a defender. So Herpier wasn't as close as I thought. Not his day so far. Free kick to Newcastle. Defence on Jermaine Genius. Into the last quarter of an hour we go. Woodgate to Olivier Bernard. Not quite the epic FA Cup tie many anticipated, but he won't mind that, just as long as Liverpool go through. Robert closed out by the Talek. Now Finnan. He's had a good match. This is Gerrard. He doesn't have a bad one too often. Test for Woodgate. Not the best of clearances either. Here's Gerrard in support again. On that near post was Michael Owen, and the danger hasn't yet passed. Owen, who's 2 goals short of 150 for the club. Finnan just couldn't find the Talek at the far post. Owen on the scene as well. And it was Andy O'Brien who rescued his team. Good build-up play here. But O'Brien spotted the threat and snapped it out. Harry Kewell with the corner. As Liverpool strive for the cushion of another goal. A goal that might just see off Newcastle's challenge. Not yet. Herpier diving in there. That's all the bodies. He loves a scrap. Been dominant again today, more like the old Sammy Herpier in tandem with Ancho. Gerrard, of course, a force in midfield. That's Finnan. Really relishing the captain's role, Steven Gerrard. Born to be a leader. In the red of Liverpool. Good header down. With Alan Shearer brewing. Again, it's O'Brien to break it up. Bruno Cheyrou has been a constant worry for Newcastle all afternoon. On a hat-trick now. Finnan. Swerved in by Gerrard. Up by Carragher. Had that gone in, it really would confirm his return to active duty after several months out from a broken leg. Really epitomised the character of that Liverpool team that won one of those cups a few seasons back. And they have been struggling for consistency generally over the past couple of years. But at the moment they have the measure of Newcastle today. Shola Amiobi. Not much is happening for Newcastle. Bobby Robson, Alan Shearer, so desperate to win this competition. 1955 was the last time they were FA Cup winners, and they haven't won a domestic trophy since. Their only success, the old UEFA Cup, the old Fairs Cup, back in 1969. A few near misses, it's true, but nothing in the trophy cabinet. Is it going to end in disappointment for them again this year? Woodgate. Now Bernard. They were absolutely devastated, Newcastle, when they lost to Wolves last season. Wolves in the Division 1 side, of course. It's a competition that means so much to the Geordies. Things stand, it's looking sour. And yes, unless in the last 10 minutes they can prize this away from Liverpool. Off goes Shola Amiobi, and surely was brought down then by Ocho. That was a poor challenge. And I think that will be the first caution of the game. A reckless tackle from Stefan Ocho. And there's a yellow card indeed for the Liverpool defender. Oh, it's gone wide. Agonisingly so from Gary Speed. Scored with a header on Monday. Oh, did he get his head to that? Or I think it was Herpier jumping with him. He must have come off the Liverpool man. Laurent Robert. Shearer to aim for in the middle. Anxious moments for Liverpool. But no real quality then from Robert. He can be frustrating at times, for all his undoubted ability. Metallic. Now Woodgate. Into the path of Robert. But into the midriff of Jatsi Dudek. He hasn't had too many saves to make. Beaten by Robert with that blistering free kick. Maybe he'll take some of the blame for that, Dudek. It was straight at him, but in fairness, it was really travelling. A free kick that brought them level so early in this game. Gerrard. Amiobi bearing down on Steve Finnan. Newcastle still in contention. I think Sir Bobby Robson would have thought at half-time we can go on from here and win this, or at very least survive for a replay. But it's Liverpool who have taken control, much to the delight of the vast majority in this Anfield crowd. Free kick to the home team, edging towards victory and a place in the fifth round. Well, they haven't been too often lately, remember. But the memories are still strong of their win in 2001 when they overcame Arsenal in Cardiff. Kieran Dyer. They want to keep his feet then. Here's Bernard with Robert. Who's stepping in? Steven Gerrard. Okay, Gerrard again. Now Genus. On to Dyer. Laurent Hughes still scrapping. Gary Speed. Amiobi. Controlled it nonchalantly. Robert. Liverpool won't want it on his left foot near the goal. Gerrard. Taking on Finnan. Still can't find that right ball in though. Not really hurting Liverpool. But back they come again now with Jermaine Genius. Dyer keen to take it on. Here's Robert. At Bernard. Amiobi's in the middle. So with Shearer, it's a corner. But they are giving Liverpool something to think about now. The home fans are getting jittery. The Geordies live in hope. Robert. Newcastle countered again. Nice and very determined Liverpool defending. Here's Bernard with Laurent Robert. Took a smackdown from Haman. Not much sympathy though from referee Pole, only a throw. Bernard will take himself. Genius. Rolled on to O'Brien. Liverpool with just about everybody behind the ball, trying to keep Newcastle out. Laurent Hughes winning the throw off Cheyrou. 4 minutes left. The boot was high, not too high. Caught Haman in the face. Dennis Woodgate didn't know he was there. No malice on his part. And he's as concerned as anyone with the damage that he might have caused. Haman actually nipped in front of him there. I think the boot caught him in the nose. Very painful for the German, who showed his bravery yet again. Well, this is to be disappointment for them again. Looking that way at the moment. I don't think their support will ever waver. But they will take this one pretty badly. They have pinned their hopes on the FA Cup yet again. Just as Liverpool's fans have. They're not going to win the league, either of them. Both in contention, of course, for 4th place, the Champions League place in the Premiership. Along with the likes of Charlton and Fulham. But it's the cup that carries the real magic for the average supporter. And certainly for these two clubs with their pedigree. A few instant repairs. Will he continue? I would think so, knowing him. He says there's some doubt about him staying at Liverpool when his contract finishes. But Gerard replies to that, well, if you keep on playing as you have been, there's no question we will want to keep you. He has made a few noises about German clubs wanting to take him back to his homeland. Owen trying to turn Woodgate. Away by O'Brien to Shearer, who's found it really hard going today. He's got very little change out of those Liverpool defenders. Lutalik. Well, there'll certainly be some stoppage time now after the injury to Haman. sublime pass from Steven Gerrard. A real turning point. I don't think I have much to say about it afterwards though. Didi Hamann. Here's Owen. Wriggling free. Michael Owen. Off O'Brien. Taken behind by Given. Under some pressure, you would have to say. I did feel he was impeded then. Let's see what Graham Poll's verdict is. Good work here from Owen. Just nudged off the head of O'Brien. He's kept it in there, but then Kuhl barged him over the line. But did it go out before this collision with Kuhl? Just about, I would think. So a corner kick it is. Liverpool buying themselves a little time here. But Newcastle earned the free kick. We're almost into time added on. Liverpool almost there now. But there will be 3 more minutes for their fans to endure. 3 minutes to give those who will follow Newcastle some hope. Bernard to Robert. Shearer. His pass has gone right. Harry Kuhl. He's not had one of his better games. No matter as long as Liverpool go on from here now. Shola Amiobi. Keeping possession well. Bernard. But it's penetration they need. No free kick. Amiobi. Fending off Finnan. Well, we have to feel for Sir Bobby. As he says himself, he's ticking off my chances now to win the FA Cup with Newcastle, or indeed anything. 71 next month. Jonathan Woodgate. Carragher was in his way. 90 seconds or so to go. As the famous Liverpool anthem rings out around Anfield. You'll never walk alone. Alan Shearer with a chance! And a wonderful save by Jerzy Dudek. Well, if there was any blame attached to him to Robert's free kick, he's redeemed himself now. Shearer setting up the chance. And it was a really good one too, for such a deadly finisher. But denied by the expertise of Dudek, who has saved the day for Liverpool. Surely now, they will be going on to the 5th round. This was a Shearer of old as he made that shooting opportunity for himself. That was a magnificent reflex save from Dudek. That's his strength, putting off that kind of stop. The final turning point surely. Only some 15 seconds to go. Jamie Carragher. Desperate times now for Newcastle. Andy O'Brien. You just have to lump it forward and hope. Kuhl in pursuit. And O'Brien has to clear it away. All eyes on referee Poll. He's found a few more seconds from somewhere. Bruno Cheyrou on the verge now of being Liverpool's match-winning hero. Along with Dudek for that save. That's it! And Gerard Houlier's Liverpool are through to round 5 at the expense of Sir Bobby Robson. You have to feel for him. It's not to be his year yet again. All smiles among the Liverpool entourage. Phil Thompson there alongside Gerrard and it's the Frenchman Bruno Cheyrou who has come up with a double strike that sees them through, along with Jerzy Dudek, who pulled off that fantastic save right at the finish to keep out Alan Shearer. It was tight, it was close, never an epic, but it's Liverpool's day. Winner over Newcastle by 2-1.